All right, we're recording. That's great. And so just want to kick off the meeting today for top 10 salon marketing trends for 2021 and give Frank and Michael a chance to say good morning and introduce themselves.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good morning, everybody. I recognize quite a few names on the screen, and we've got a good part of our sales team on this morning. So thank you for getting on. We are sitting in our classroom, which we haven't been able to use for the last
almost a year. Wow.
Yeah, almost a year. So it's definitely, the world has changed. And when we look back over the last 8 months, and we really, and especially now we're running numbers and some of our reps are doing meetings with accounts, we're looking at numbers, and what we're finding is, and kind of what started this process, is the salons that had growth with us, and most of those that had growth were in the double-digit growth factor, ended up, the reason for that when we look back was they had a strategic plan. They had something in place, marketing, merchandising, there was a strategy in place. And then the salons that didn't have some of those things in place didn't do as well. So we really decided we can't use a classroom, what can we do? And Elizabeth, who does our social media marketing, and if you've seen our new website and some of that, you can see what she does. Her expertise is phenomenal, working with a lot of big companies. But here's why we loved her. She has a history in the salon industry, because certainly marketing and social media is that. But as we all know that's on this Zoom call, our industry is a bit unique in a wonderful, beautiful way. And so her understanding our world, along with understanding social media marketing. The other thing that we saw as the top 5 trends that are happening right now are social media marketing are in those top 5 trends, and that is not going to change. So we really set out together and put together this class and kind of gave Elizabeth this overview of our dream of what we could do. And she exceeded what our hopes were. We did this last week on Monday. The feedback was phenomenal. And so you get to be part of round 2, which, learned a few little things to add into that. There's a lot of information here today. Yeah. What I would challenge you to do is, while this is going on, you're going to be getting a lot of a volume of the ideas. Take and jot down a few of the ideas that spark in you the most. Pick 2 or 3 of those things and then act on them. We're also doing something that's kind of unique. We're passing on and giving you guys all the tools that you're going to see today, and then some more. So you're going to walk away and get an email with that. You're also going to get a link to be able to watch this again if you want to go through it. So you're going to walk away with a beautiful marketing calendar, custom tailored to our industry, along with a slideshow. Elizabeth also is good at giving other information along, so it's not just the slides that you're going to get this afternoon. And then Sophie is behind the scenes helping Elizabeth, and will be running any questions. They'll go over that.
Absolutely.
Anything you'd like to add?
On a personal note, normally our team would be here in our classroom and we would be seeing all your beautiful faces. So Carla had a birthday over the weekend, and it's always tough when we can't be together and celebrate. So happy birthday, Carla.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Cheers. Hi, Jeanette. It's good to see you. I love to see all these faces. I think, like Frank said, I mean, last Monday, we enjoyed this class. I learned so much. The content in this class is amazing to really get a idea of where our industry is at, but where our clients are, what they're going through as well. So it's not only are you dealing with what you're dealing with as a stylist and how to grow your business, but what your clients, their new shopping habits and everything that's going on with as being a consumer. So like Frank said, just take 3 things that really you identify with. Hi, Jessica. and really put those into action. And I think you'll see a huge difference in your business. So enjoy. And thank you, Elizabeth and Sophie, for such an amazing class, such hard work that you put into this. And I know everybody's going to appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. We'll let you take over. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. It was just a pleasure to be able to put this class together. It actually gets us so excited that we want to do more. So we'll hit you up with some more ideas for future ones. But as Frank and Michael said, I do have a background in the salon industry, but it's kind of a backwards view. So I've worked with 3 different salon distributorships, and that the first one was starting way back in 2004. I've worked with salon distributorships on the West Coast and the East Coast. So in that work that I did, it was always marketing at the corporate level. But what I always found was that I was always thinking then for the salon owner, how do they take, the manufacturer promotions and the seasonal things that you can do, and how do you take that and put that into marketing that works in the real world? So I kind of come at salon marketing from the standpoint of the marketing side more than the salon side. So you'll see that I apply stuff at the macro level, and then I take it and kind of dial it in for how it can apply for salons and how they can use that information to grow. We are going to be going through a lot of data, and I want to save a good chunk of time at the end to really go through the marketing calendar, because you're going to hear these trends, but then a lot of what we're talking about, these trends, we've put into the marketing calendar. So now you don't just know what the trend is, but you have an actual working plan that basically anyone can do, from a solopreneur who's maybe booth renting or a salon suite or a full scale salon, because they don't require great investment of budget. They just require an investment of time and some know-how. So hopefully we'll have a good chunk of time at the end. And I did go through the trends pretty quickly last time. So to save more time at the end, I may be going through them even a little bit quicker. But Sophie is monitoring for questions and she's watching chat. So after like about halfway through the trend list, I'm going to stop. And if she's got some questions in the queue, or some things that came up in chat, then we'll address those, and then we'll go through and do the end, and then we'll jump into the calendar. So with that said, here we go off to the races. The Professional Beauty Association, PBA, said in October at their executive summit, they published a blog post, and their summit was the road to reinvention, and it was really in response to COVID-19's impact on the beauty industry. And they actually had a study done by the benchmarking company that found some interesting things overall. 40% of women are pampering themselves more than ever. But of course, with COVID-19, that pampering time is not necessarily being spent in salons and spas. But that woman is now spending more time online. So how can you reach those women who do want to pamper themselves right now, and maybe they're just plain tired of dealing with, staying at home or working from home and those type of things. 42% of stylists have clients coming in less frequently than pre-pandemic. I'm sure it's not something I need to tell you. And it makes sense because about 4 out of every 10 US adults, I have the stat later on, actually could have some negative a severe health impact if they were to contract COVID-19. So a lot of people are staying home and skipping things like salon visits. 82% of consumers say that their salon is still in business. 37%, which is almost, again, 4 out of 10, want to have their service done as quickly as possible, so they're not lingering in the salon or coming into contact with more people, etc. And while 80% of stylists are back at work, 59% said that they're working less hours, and 34%, which is about 1 in 3, said that the pandemic has made them reevaluate their career choice. So if your business has been affected by COVID-19, you're not alone. And there's no way to talk about marketing without talking about its impacts. 92% of businesses have had to reinvent themselves to stay open during the pandemic. So if you've had to hastily implement new employee and customer protocols and solutions, you're not alone. And we're going to talk about now 10 trends that apply now and are going to be well into the future, and then how to apply them for your salon. So the first trend is continued uncertainty. Things are still unsettled, not just state to state, but even county to county. So with continued uncertainty and the prospect of continued restrictions, slowdowns, or even temporary shutdowns means you need contingency plans, and you need contingency plans for just about every way your business operates. How are you going to quickly and effectively communicate with staff and clients if you have to close temporarily? Which clients are going to be prioritized? How will the salon be open? Can the salon open for extended hours? How are you going to restructure staffing? For staff exposures or potential exposures, what's the protocol for rescheduling their appointments, and can impacted clients be accommodated with existing staff? For physical social distancing, do clients perceive that you have changed the layout and flow to better protect them from contact with other people or potential exposures? And how have you changed the use of common spaces, like even just your lobby or waiting area, any common, like that common back bar areas, et cetera? Vulnerable clients, how can you accommodate them? And we're actually going to talk about this later on. Revenue streams, if you have to be temporarily closed, or if capacity restrictions have cut into your revenues, how else can you generate revenue for your salon? And then obviously there's a lot of COVID-19 programs out there, financial relief. Are funds available to you locally in your city, county, state? And if some of those funds are available, can you reinvest some of that towards growth and change for the future? So the second trend is expanding e-commerce. And it's one of the impacts of COVID-19 that probably isn't going to go away. And consumers are not only buying more online, they're buying things online they only used to purchase in brick and mortar stores. And the reality is that if you can't sell as much in your store, in your salon, you have to be able to sell online. E-commerce expands your area of service and it's practically borderless, especially like within the US. Anyone looking for the professional salon products you sell could purchase from you, and you can ship that out. And successful brands are going to focus more on value-based pricing and messaging, not so much discounts, coupons. It's all about communicating the value that the client or purchaser is going to get. So 6 out of 10 US consumers that have internet access shop online at least once a month. That was April 2020. And almost, again, 3 out of every 10 people said they expected to spend more online shopping the next month than they did April 2020. So that trend is not going away. The things that motivates people to purchase online, 80% are more likely to buy online when they're offered free shipping, 64% if they know that they can have a painless exchange and return process, and 33% are more likely to buy online if they're provided with merchant-provided coupons or codes. In fact, 60%, 6 out of 10 US consumers want to get an incentive or promotion from a brand before shopping with them. And 84%, which is a huge number, refer to at least one social site for recommendations. So people are turning to their online peers, people that they know, maybe people that they don't know, on social media to get recommendations for purchases. About 1 in 3 purchased directly through social media in 2019, and that was up from 29% in 2018. For that social media stat, 81% use Instagram to research products and services, and 72% of Instagram users say that they made purchases after seeing a product on Instagram. And Instagram actually has a great guide in their business section. If you go to business.instagram.com/blog, they have a whole guide for how to sell your products on Instagram. And I recommend that if that's something that interests you, that you go ahead and look for that. If you missed that link, shoot me an email and I'll send it to you as well. So the third trend, contactless everything. 82% of consumers, up from 45% pre-pandemic, expect businesses to offer contactless and minimal contact solutions in 2021 and beyond. And so everything from virtual telemedicine appointments to contactless delivery and payment systems skyrocketed this year. A Get App survey revealed that not only will contactless experiences remain important long after the pandemic is over, they will even be a deciding factor in who customers decide to do business with. More than 70% agreed they value digital solutions that deepen their connection with other people. And as we go through the remaining trends and into the calendar, one of the things to think about, because there is digital marketing presented in here, is how can you use digital media in a way that deepens your connection with other people? And we'll touch on that in a few of these other trends, but it's not just about being online, but it's about connecting online and really making that one-to-one connection with a person on the other side. And it's challenging because it's digital, right? You can see my screen right now, but you can't see me. You don't know what color hair I have. You don't know what I look like. Well, some of you do. But so how do you make that connection when you're inhibited by, you're not actually in that one-to-one touch? So anything that you're doing online, to really be thinking of the personal connection with the reader or the viewer on the other side. And 63% are going to continue relying on digital technologies more than they used to, even after the pandemic is over. I think it's really obvious that, this wasn't a 15 days to slow the curve, because we're now in month 10 of 15 days to slow the curve. So some of these changes are going to be basically permanent for consumers. So there's a few ways that you can make sure that you offer the most contactless options available. One is obviously payments. If you've had a central checkout where everyone walks up to a countertop and they're all touching the same pens and they're all interacting with the same touchpads, can you make those payments contactless even in the salon? Obviously, you can use smartphones can enable this. You can even use things like PayPal. You could even pre-invoice your client using PayPal for their appointment, or invoice them for salon retail products. And again, you can use these technologies with payment solutions. PayPal for Business, Square, your own bank, financial institution. There's numerous platforms out there that can enable you to do payments contactlessly. And curbside pickups is another one. It's a perfect partner, obviously, for touchless payments. So clients can purchase what they need safely and securely, and then they can pick them up without ever having to enter a place of business or come into personal contact with people. And this could be especially valuable for you, for your vulnerable clients. And you probably know those clients who used to be really good clients and come in every 4 to 6 weeks. And now you've seen them once or twice or not at all, even since COVID-19 hit. So is there a way to reach out to those vulnerable clients with curbside and contactless? And it's obviously also an effective way that you can continue to sell retail if there is another temporary shutdown. Shipping, adding e-commerce to abilities with shipping doesn't just enable you to sell to your own clients locally, it's borderless, so you can sell professional products virtually nationwide. And then virtual replacements, we touched on this with how the docs are doing all the telemedicine, but classrooms are what parts of your client experience could be moved online? Video communications and virtual consultations, especially if client time is restricted. Like we had a period of time when clients could only be in the salon for 30 minutes of time. So if you have a situation like that, if you have a smartphone, you have all the tools that you need to actually do a virtual consultation with your client ahead of the appointment, so that once they come in, you can just dive into their service and get that accomplished. And it also caters to those clients who want to limit their time in the salon so that they reduce contact. Zoom, Skype, FaceTime, and other video platforms give you the ability to go live, not only for those consultations, but with your own video how-to sessions, which now you're doing some marketing. And they can all be recorded. So then now you've got something that you can record and do in lifetime and record, and then use in your social media and your email marketing and your website. And it's very personal because now people are coming into contact with you virtually. And most of these can be used at no cost at all. So, and we already touched about the fact that you can use them in a lot of different ways on email, social media, and salon website. And so a few more examples of how you can use video to increase contactless services, to book more appointments, and sell more retail products include virtual consultations, styling, step-by-steps or quick tips and tricks. I'm going to get a quick sip of water. Seasonal hair care, salon professional products, like demoing some of these new products that are coming out, demoing them for your clients so that you're introducing those new products to your clients, where you used to maybe do a try me station in the salon. Now you're doing a virtual try me station online, and at-home kits and application and product use. And we're going to touch on that later, so I won't go into that more now. Trend number 4, reciprocity. This goes in 2 different ways. One is overall, almost 4 out of 5 people could cite a time a brand responded positively to the pandemic, and 1 in 5, about 20%, strongly agreed it led to increased brand loyalty on their part. The flip side of that is that more than 25% of those who noticed brands acting in their own self-interest walked away from those brands. More than 70%, we talked about that, 58% of people said that they could remember when a brand quickly pivoted to better respond to their needs. And 82% said this led to them doing more business with that brand. So your clients and customers, they are watching when you do send out messages of here's what we're doing, here's how we've changed. They are watching to see if you're doing this in a way that adds value for them, or in a way that they might feel doesn't. So it's just really important to remember that people are watching, and how this can impact loyalty to your salon is very deep. And I have this cute picture here of MRK Beauty and how when they had to close for a short period of time, I think in March, and then when they were able to reopen and start shipping again, and just how much that they missed their clients. And I think these are even just small things like this just really point to the fact that you can make a personal connection with your customer, even if you can't see them, even if you can't interact with them personally. And so just looking for those moments to take that time. So that's from the brand perspective, but now from the client perspective in reciprocity, we talk about rewarding behavior that we want more of, because nearly every aspect of the salon, from gift cards to retail to pre-booking, can be incentivized. And there's never been a better time for you to think about maybe reboot your reward systems. Here's a list of a bunch of different things that you could be rewarding and acknowledging. Referrals, obviously, through rewards, through contests, gift card promotion, social media shout outs, just tagging that client on social media and telling them that you appreciate them, or pointing out the great appointment that they just had, or thanking them for some way that they encouraged you. Social media contests and giveaways, pre-booking incentives, retail incentives, influencer clients. And that could be something, an influencer client. If you've got a client who's really active on social media, they maybe are already even interacting with your salon, your brand on social media. Why not use that influencer client to maybe sample a new product out to, and have them do a like selfie video review of that product? Because now you've got some social proof that this new product is great, and it's coming from an influencer, so it's more organic than if a salesperson is saying it. And then thank yous and acknowledgments, for anything and everything. It could be a thank you email that you send to each client at the end of the day. Maybe you've seen, 8 or 10 clients, and just to sit down, and even if you've got a cut and paste template, you could sit down and email or text each of those clients, hey, thanks for your business today. Let me know if you have any questions about your product or service. And here, if you mentioned a product to them they might want to use, maybe that's another opportunity to bring up that product or even offer some kind of incentive. So a thank you post appointment, but also thank yous and acknowledgements if someone's interacting with your brand on social media. If somebody has left a review for you on Facebook, Yelp, or Google. One time I left a positive review for a restaurant right here in town, and just as a thank you, they actually asked for my address and sent me a gift card. And I had no idea that was coming. I just did it because I really liked the restaurant. We had a great experience. We had great service. So an unexpected reward and thank you. And that went a long way because it's 3 years later and I'm still mentioning it. So there's a lot of ways to do that. So we talk about rewards, but what makes a good reward? And incentives only are effective if the individual places importance on the reward. So for salons, my suggestion is to be flexible. Instead of just like a punch card, one size fits all approach to rewards, think about ways that you could personalize rewards, like by letting clients choose rewards from a variety of options so they actually value what they received. And remember that some clients want that small instant gratification. Sophie and I were talking about this, and she pointed out that she's a member, she does the Starbucks cards, and she's like, oh yeah, you can take your reward, every other time with a little extra shot, or you can bank those stars and use them for something big later on. So just remembering that clients are all motivated differently, and some want those little surprises all along the way. And some might say, hey, I'd like to save all these and put it towards something large later on. And then, so it needs to be personalized. And then rewards have to be perceived to be obtainable in order to be motivating. So again, it's that thing of, I knew one time a salon that did referral program where the person that referred the most clients to them got free haircuts for a year. And to me, that's not necessarily something that I would do, because I don't know if I would be able to keep focused on that goal for that salon to try to send in, 10 or 12 people during the year to try to win one big prize. But if I've got those little referral thank yous along the way, that's maybe more motivating to me. So just remembering that everyone's different. So it needs to be relevant to the person, and it needs to be obtainable. And number 5, and then we're going to take a short break. And this is about customer prioritization. It's not about making customers your number one priority. It's about ensuring better profitability by prioritizing your customers so that you improve the quality of your client base. Studies show that customer prioritization ultimately leads to higher customer profitability and a higher return on sales, because it affects relationships with your best clients positively, but it doesn't affect relationships with those clients who maybe aren't your best clients at all. And then it reduces marketing and sales costs. And we all know this because if we're focusing on the 20% of people that give our salons the 80% of profit, and that's where we're investing, marketing and incentives and rewards and things like that, then we're going to get more out of that investment than if we're just doing it across the board. So how do you identify and your most valuable clients, and how do you prioritize them? And in the marketing calendar, we're going to look at, we talk about identifying the most valuable client types based on 5 very, very general characteristics. 1, they generally spend and tip generously. They buy retail occasionally or even regularly. They appreciate your time and admire your skills and their results. And that this is expressed in a lot of different ways. Some of it's just showing up on time, not canceling, not rescheduling. They don't just appreciate your time, but they value your time as a professional. And then they really like what you do for them, and how they feel when they walk out. Clients who are generally easy to satisfy. They're not the ones that are, well, you know who they are. So, and maybe they're the clients who are already endorsing you without even being asked. They're already referring to you, or they're even just engaging with you on social media. And one way to prioritize your most valuable clients is through rewards, which we touched on a minute ago, but another one is through pre-booking. And I think pre-booking is more important than ever for salons. I'm 51 years old, and I've only in my lifetime ever had one stylist who was a salon owner, but I've only ever had one stylist offer and do pre-booking with me. And I'm in every 5 to 6 weeks. I've been a color client since my early 30s. I'm that client who might come in and want a precision haircut after growing out my hair for a few months. So I'm that client who you maybe want to pre-book, but only one salon has ever done that for me. So I know it's not being utilized as often as it could be. Pre-booking prioritizes your most valuable and loyal clients, ensures they will have appointments even during limited capacity. And these can also be the clients who get first choice of appointments after a temporary shutdown. Pre-booking clients 6 to 12 months in advance creates pattern and habits. And habits are behaviors that are repeated regularly and over time tend to occur subconsciously. So you don't have to keep asking for that booking or that sale. And that process of habit formation can actually be very slow. It can take anywhere from 66 days to 254 days. So it might take half a year for your clients to get in this habit of, oh yes, every 5 weeks on Wednesday at 1 p.m. This is my time, and this is my time with my stylist. And I'm reserving that time, and I'm working around that to make sure that my appointment stays a priority for me and my stylist. So there are three main components to habit formation. One is the context cue. That's the need for services. Behavioral repetition, which again, now in my mind, every 5 weeks, Wednesday at 1 p.m. And then the last part is the reward. Context cue, repetition, and reward. And habits can initially be triggered by a goal, which could be a rewards program, or if in my situation, when I was pre-booked with my stylist, I had a discount on retail and I got free brow waxes, and that was very rewarding. It was very meaningful to me, especially the brow waxing, I'm telling you. And so pre-booking puts clients with specific goals or whose styles are higher maintenance in the chair at the optimal frequency needed. And again, it goes back to that, if you've got that client who doesn't call to book until they've noticed that they've got an inch of gray at their roots versus, so that might be 6 to 7 weeks versus if you've got that client who knows they're going to be in every 5 weeks and they're rarely going to be irritated by the gray root problem. So it puts them in the chair at the optimal frequency for their good, for their service, and eliminates the possibility your client might have to book with somebody else because they waited till the last minute and you can't accommodate them. And so it ensures they're going to have services with a stylist of their choice. And it gives you more ability to control your schedule, because obviously you can pre-book your clients out and then you can book around times when you may need to take a day because maybe you've got a kid and you've got to go do something with them, or you want to schedule a vacation or a mini break. And so you can control your schedule, and also you can identify any slow times on your books. If you've got your best clients who are all pre-booked, and then your maybe not so best clients who you still let call and schedule, you can kind of find now those chunks where it might be worth offering some kind of incentive to come in and make those slow times faster. So you can incentivize client pre-booking with basically anything that you want that's going to be meaningful to that client. And you can also reward and recognize clients after the fact if they make all their pre-booked appointments without canceling or rescheduling, like after 6 months or a year, and give them kind of a perfect attendance reward. So at that, we are at the end of the 5th point, and I'm going to check in with Sophie to see if there's anything we need to talk about.
So I don't see any questions yet, but it's not too late to ask. Can we make our screen the full screen?
Did that help?
Yeah, that looks better. Is under view, is there a full screen option, or is that the full screen option? Full screen mode. Yep, that's great. Mhm.
All right, thanks, Sophie.
Uh-huh. All right, if there are no questions, we'll just keep rolling and do questions at the end.
Okay. So trend number 6, and we talked about the fact that we were going to talk about this, and it's accommodating our vulnerable clients. A lot of businesses have special hours set aside for seniors, like for grocery shopping. So why not think about special hours in your salon to accommodate vulnerable clients? About 4 in 10 adults, as I mentioned, have a higher risk of developing serious illness if they become infected with COVID-19, and that's based on age or health conditions. And not only that, but you also have to consider your clients who come into contact with people who are at risk. For instance, my mom is 73, and she has stayed home a lot more by choice, because my grandmother is 95 and my mom takes my grandmother out shopping and sees her at least once or twice a week. So there's also people that are staying home and limiting those interactions just because they are, caring for or helping somebody else that's at risk. So during the hours that you might set aside special time for vulnerable clients, you can let them know that your salon was thoroughly cleaned and disinfected right before they came, that you're even further limiting the number of people on premises, the number of space between stations, and that maybe if you're taking any additional precautions, like maybe you're doing temperature checks for not only staff, but clients with the contactless thermometers you can use to help further promote a safe and healthy salon experience. So there's a lot of different things that might help these clients perceive that it's safe to come back into the salon, at least especially during these special hours. And so one of the ways you could do this is by further isolating the service experience. And so maybe that's designing a way that your client actually doesn't have to move around the salon, that basically everything they need to do happens right at the station, and that it's cleaned right before, it's cleaned after. So how much of the client experience can you isolate? Communication protocols. Everyone's concerned about health and safety to some extent right now. So you've already established your protocols in line with the local and state and county and all the regulations. So how are you communicating then to your staff and your vendors and your clients those things that you're doing to promote that safe environment in your salon? One of the ways you might even do this is to do a video demonstration, just using your smartphone. Do a video demo of how client stations, back bar, the salon in general, et cetera, are cleaned and sanitized throughout the day. And again, this is not only can you use this on social media, email marketing to reassure your clients that your salon is a safe place, but also you can even use it as a teaching tool in the salon. So now you've got this video, and now all of your staff know that this is the protocol, this is what we do in between. And then when your client is in the salon, if they've seen that video and the cleaning protocols, and then they see you doing it, it just further reinforces the fact that you're really committed to their health and well-being. Virtual consultations we touched on. The limitations like temporary shutdowns and time limitations, capacity limitations, all of these can constrict your ability to deliver the services your clients want. So doing consultations online via Zoom or FaceTime ahead, then you can start the client's appointment right away. It gives you more time even to prepare to recommend retail, because you've had that pre-consultation before they arrived. So maybe you've got a couple things already positioned at your station. And so you're planting that idea ahead of time too for retail. At-home kits, I don't actually think these are optimal, but I know that there are some salons and hairdressers that have done at-home kits even for color, and I know it's not optimal. I do not ever want to have to color my own hair again. So, but maybe it's necessary, especially for your vulnerable clients, and maybe that helps them continue that feeling of, yes, I'm still getting salon services, and as soon as this thing is safe, I'm back in for the professional color. So number 7, adapting to dramatic changes in consumer demand. So more than half of US consumers don't expect their routines to return to normal until the back half of 2021. And for some industries, that's even further. For instance, arts, entertainment, and recreation isn't expected to get back to quote normal until 2024. Accommodation and food services, 2024 and 2025. So that's travel and restaurants and catering and things like that. Educational services, 2023 to 2025. Retail, some of it's back to normal, some of it might not be back to normal till 2023. Other services, anywhere from 2021 to 2025. So a return to normal isn't going to be the old normal. It's going to be a new normal. And how some of these things have changed is that 40% of consumers said they're going to decrease discretionary spending. That was as of October 2020. So just a few months ago. 65% aren't yet doing normal activities away from home. 21% say that they're not going to do activities away from home unless a vaccine is widely distributed or treatment is widely available. And 76%, that's 3 out of every 4 people, have changed stores, brands, or the way that they shop. And when asked why they changed brands in the US, these were the 3 rankings in order. Number 1 reason was the value, the perceived value of what they're receiving. Number 2 is availability, and that's pretty obvious because we've all seen the things where we couldn't get toilet paper, paper towels, or cleaning supplies. And so then the 3rd one is the quality of the product, or having the organic products. So these were the things that mattered to most to US consumers. One additional one that I didn't put in the deck, but year over year, in June, from June 2019 to June 2020, year over year, Yelp searches for mobile nail salons were up 359%, and mobile waxing was up 453%. And I recently saw someone was advertising a class that they're doing. It's how to set up and run your own mobile salon. And I think we're going to see more of those types of businesses in the future, just because of COVID-19. People want that more isolated experience. That might be a salon suite, it might be an in-home salon, it could be a mobile salon. And so also just a reference back to the calendar again too, in the 2021 marketing calendar, we have a ton of information about what consumers are looking for online month to month and seasonally, including hashtags that you can use to amplify your social media posts. So once you see that calendar, we'll take a peek at some of those things that, start happening in January or February or March or April, so that you're thinking ahead during the year about what's coming next. Trend number 8, embracing email marketing. Email open rates increased 16% from February to March 2020. And year over year, we're up about almost 1/3, 32%. And what was interesting about that was email open rates were up, click rates were actually down, but conversion rates were up. So more people were opening the email. If they didn't see something that was relevant to them right now, they didn't click. But among those who clicked, they were more apt to buy, if that makes sense. So consumers turn to brand emails. Obviously, with businesses closed, they're looking for your website, they're looking for social media, they're looking for email marketing to find out, if your business is closed, how long it's closed, if you have reduced hours, if you can't accommodate the same number of people, what your protocols are. And they want email to get not only sales and product updates, but the information about your business. And email has been a very effective communication tool this year. As consumers shifted from want-based shopping to need-based shopping, they moved on if retailer's email didn't meet their needs. Again, so click rates were down, but if the retailer met their needs, they offered something really relevant, consumers clicked and purchased. So conversion rates were up, and online sales obviously skyrocketed this year. So if you are ready to get into email marketing, or you've been doing some email marketing, obviously the number 1 priority for that is growing your list. it would be optimal for a salon to have 100%, to be able to reach 100% of their clients either by text or email. So having those lists for the phone numbers and the email addresses, because that way, if something happens, if something changes, if you need to get an announcement out quickly, you've got the means to do it for all your clients. And you can also obviously use your website and social media to get those messages out. But email and text is that thing that turns up in their inbox or in their phone. So it's push rather than pull, whereas website and social media are more pull. People have to go out and look for it. So focus on list growth, offer alternatives, including both email and text updates. Let your people choose how they want to get communication. Send them regularly. This could be once a month. It could be once every 3 weeks, however often you decide you're going to send, but be consistent once you get it going in doing that. And then diversify your content. And this goes back to that point of having relevant communications, because one client might be interested in a current promotion. Another client might be more interested in your selfie video about how to braid, or how to, do a quick makeover if you've got a big Zoom meeting or something like that. So diversify your content with video, with photos, with obviously your promotions, with information about rewards programs, with safety protocols, the information that they need, and then any information they need to know how to book, if anything's changed about payments, etc. So email and text marketing is really vital with all of the shutdowns and slowdowns. And again, those maybe 4 out of 10 people that don't want to go to the salon right now. Now, if you have email and text communications with them, you're still keeping that your brand top of mind with them. And you're still connecting with them with maybe video or images that inspire them to want to book an appointment, or at least, want to get back to normal someday and keep coming back. And you can put special offers in there to entice some of those clients who maybe have lapsed back to a regular appointment schedule. There's some more in my notes, so I'm gonna skip over those because I know we're gonna run short on time. I'm gonna go into number 9, expanding your own digital real estate. So we talk about real estate. I'm literally talking about things that you own, just like you own a property versus lease it. The shift to digital persists across countries and categories as consumers in most parts of the world keep low out-of-home engagement. 40% intend to keep buying things online past COVID-19. And as of September 30th in 2020, purchases of skincare and makeup products grew online from 30 to 49%, and purchase of personal care products online grew from 15 to 29%. Half of US consumers said they shopped more online in 2020, and only 15% said they shopped more in store, which is not at all surprising. And it's not just about products. This is a graph in Google Trends, and you can see the huge spike in Google searches for cut my own hair that occurred in March 2020. And then again, there's a little spike in October and another one at the end of December for cutting my own hair. A lot of people, Googled how to cut their own hair at home, how to style. There were actually a ton of searches for things like pixie cuts, and obviously we talked about mobile salons and things like that. 63% of consumers strongly agreed that COVID-19 increased their appreciation for well-designed technology. And 63% said they're going to continue using it after the pandemic. 41% of CEOs said they implemented new technology to react more quickly to customer needs. And this is just my observation of having worked in and around salon businesses since 2004. Salons were a little bit slower to come to the internet in terms of, having their own website or doing email marketing, and didn't necessarily embrace that. And maybe it's because they really value more the high touch, the client one-on-one. Maybe they didn't really see that that there was a strong need to change their marketing that way. I think with COVID-19, you have to. And we've talked about a lot of the reasons why with these trends. So So if that's something that's interesting to you and maybe you haven't seen a digital marketing package, if you want to email me, I can email you like what does this look like in terms of what do I need and how do I operate it? And I'd be happy to do that. An offer I made during evaluate it and send you a list of ways that you can better search optimize your website or change it so that it's more you're going to get found more in online search, or maybe your social media profile, same thing. Shoot me an email, elizabeth@marketingdesk.com, and I will be happy to just give you a free eval with some quick tips that you can use. So what did people do online since they were all staying at home and nobody had anything to do? The most popular online content consumption this year, last year, 2020, was watching videos, 87%, listening to music, listening to online radio, podcasts, and vlogs, which are video blogs. And then the most used social media, YouTube, which aligns right with watching the online videos, obviously. And then Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Pinterest and Snapchat and LinkedIn. The most visited websites in the United States as of January 2020, Google search. And you can see how far Google search outstrips every other website in terms of use. And YouTube at number 2, and we've already talked about the importance of video. Facebook number 3. The implications of this are, if this is where consumers are spending their time, what do you need? The first thing that you need is a search optimized website. If somebody's on Google search and they're searching for a salon or hairdresser or something in their city, if you have a search optimized website, so that's a website that has content on it with keywords, so that the Google search engine knows that when somebody searches for salons in Bonnie Lake, that you are a salon in Bonnie Lake. And so then they can serve you up in that online search. And a lot of the things you can do to optimize your website are very easy. And again, just cost you a little bit of time in writing, or and maybe finding somebody, maybe it's somebody even in your client base that can do some writing for your website so that you have that content that you need to get found online. You need a Google business listing. Again, Google search, and they obviously are going to prioritize if you've got a search optimized website and you've got a Google business page and you're putting things on that page. You can even put periodic announcements on. One of the things that I found this year was Google business listings would email me and say, hey, do you have an update for COVID that you want to put on here? So all of the ways that you can encourage Google to love you online can help you get found in online search. So you want to have a strategy for getting clients to leave you positive reviews on your Google business page, on Facebook, on Yelp if you have a Yelp listing. You need website, you have to have a content management and creation strategy, because you can't just throw a website up and then think that it works forever. You actually want to have new content going on, and you obviously are going to have changes, or maybe you bring in a new product line. You need to have a strategy for, how do I get this new content about these products, new product, new services, changes, etc. How am I going to get this content to change on my website from month to month? And then it's highly encouraged for you to have video content on your website. And these can be anything from just a little 30-second, introduce, or a little virtual tour of your salon. It could be where you're showing off a new product that you just brought in, or maybe you're talking about a product line in general. And just use your smartphone to make these like 30 to 60-second little videos, because 75% of people would rather watch a video about a product than read about it in an article or on a business webpage. And then Google also, it's in there, right in their list of the ways that they prioritize who gets found online. And that's if you have video on your website, that's a boost for you in online search. So when we talk about owned versus leased digital real estate, this is also very important. Facebook and Instagram are often used as alternatives to a website, but they're really not good website alternatives. For one reason, it's just a limited type and amount of content that you can even post. You've also got just a really short lifespan of your posts. Most of them are live in people's feeds for an hour or even less than an hour. Then you have the issue of increasing censorship and limitations on advertising. Just about 2 weeks ago, I got an email from, not an email, I was placing an ad on Facebook and it said, oh, Instagram might not show this because they just changed this advertising policy. So, so when you talk about social media, any other of those third party platforms, those are all what I call leased digital real estate. You might be even using them for free, leasing them for free, quote unquote, but they're leased and they can be taken away, they can be changed, they can be restricted. The value in search is fairly limited. But then you have digital real estate that you can own, and that's your website. That's your video and images and your content. That's your email marketing, because these are the things that you get to control the content of. And obviously your website, unless you've got something super crazy and illegal on there, nobody's going to be restricting the content that you can put on there. Please don't have illegal things on your websites. So so you need to have that website. You need to have a strategy for managing that website, your Google listing, and then a social strategy. And that's, I'm going to post once a day. Here's how I'm going to try to get new followers. Here's where my client types are most likely to engage on social media. That might be a platform, that might be a time of day. And good news, we actually included some of that in the calendar, and I'll touch on that in a minute. How are we going to get reviews online? How are we going to get positive reviews on our social profiles and Google Business Listing? And then another thing is making that personal connection with people. How am I going to do engaging and diversified content? Because just posting pics of beautiful hair every day might not engage all of your client base or your prospective client base. But so what else can you post, whether it's those motivational quotes or it's a funny meme or a cute dog picture, or you're asking questions about coffee, or you're asking, you're doing that little selfie video where you demo something in your salon. How can you diversify your content on social media so that you've got that change up to engage different types of people who all comprise your ideal client base? You want to have a video and image rich strategy, because social media posts with links get exponentially more clicks than those that don't have images, and video gets even more. And if you want to advertise on social media, you've got to know how to do that. And if you're selling online, if you've expanded your e-commerce, what's your search strategy for that in terms of optimizing that on your website, both locally and in the expanded area, maybe anywhere in the US. So that's a lot. Point number 9 is a lot. So remember how you eat the elephant. It's one bite at a time. And the other good news about this is that most of these can be accomplished at little to no cost. So it really is accessible to everyone, from salon owners to salon suite and booth runners. In the calendar, also, we put these bite-sized pieces in. You're going to see that we've got these all of these things that I said, oh, you need this and you need that and you need that. Well, we've got these little reminders. So now all you're going to do in January is go either set up or review your Google Business Listing. So that's just one thing that you go and do, just a little housekeeping thing. And by the end of the year, now you've got a plan where you've kind of touched on all of these things, but you didn't have to do it all tomorrow. So that's really important. In fact, on one page of the calendar, there's even a list that shows how, even if you spend just $100 a month on digital marketing, you can accomplish all of this. So finally, number 10, agility. Your ability to respond to marketplace changes, pivot your business, spot underserved market needs, and effectively reach, engage, and convert your target audiences. In other words, how can you serve and sell to the new stay-home workforce? How can you reach out to moms and teachers, virtual learners, those 40% of women that want to pamper themselves? And how have the service and product needs of your client base changed? So there's 3 musts for agility. And that's 1, to have a clear picture of the market based on real data. That's one of the things that we did today. We used data to show the different trends in marketing. So we've got a picture of the market now. And so now we know what our clients and prospects are looking for. So now we can anticipate conversations. So have a clear picture of the market, anticipate conversations and start those conversations, and then embrace social and email CRM, which stands for Customer Relationship Management, because your clients want to be able to reach you any way that they want to be able to reach you. And that could be responding to a text or email. That could be going to your website and filling out a contact form. It could also just be touching base with you on social media, or and they want you to be there where they are and respond where they are, and virtually instantly at any time. So these are some of the ways that companies changed the way they interacted with customers this last year. Increased social media presence, not really a surprise. Increase in virtual events, workshops, consultations, etc. Leveraging customer feedback to create new offers. That goes back to that question. How has your client base, how has their service and products needs changed? And what can you do to change your offerings in response? 27% used virtual contests to generate ideas. 20% found new customers outside of their old base, and 19% found and served new markets. And finding and serving new markets, finding new customers outside of your base, this is one thing that you might be able to accomplish through that e-commerce, of being able to sell online, whether that's selling educational videos or selling retail products, etc., online, which is now borderless versus the old way of selling, which was in my 20-mile radius where clients would drive to see me. Whew, okay. So we started with PBA stats, and we're going to end with PBA advice. That all came out of that road to reinvention. Start before you're ready. Innovators don't wait for permission. They get started even though they know everything isn't perfect, and they know they're going to be course correcting along the way. Don't wait for an ideal situation. Just do it. And obviously we know we can't wait for a return to normal, because the old normal is not going to be the new normal. So break it to fix it. Sometimes you have to break away from the way everyone has always done it and the way you've always done it in order to make progress. And there's different ways to do this. One is like thinking of something that you can do that no one's ever done before. Another way is to flip a product, flip a solution onto the other way of looking at it. So listing out the way you've done it in the past, the way other people have done it, and asking yourself, what's the opposite way to do it? Or what's a way to do it that's not covered in there at all? If you've always brought in really experienced people to try to brainstorm something, try bringing in people that are new to your industry, or somebody that's like some people like me that are kind of outsiders to your industry, but understand it, because maybe you're going to get some ideas that you wouldn't have thought of by looking at it from the outside in. So flipping it upside down to get a different and better result. Getting scrappy, doing more with less. Talked about several times how all of these things can be done with basically without money, but you've got to use your imagination, and you've got to be committed. Like I think Frank said, is try one new thing, implement one new thing, add in one new thing to your marketing next month. And then the next month after that, add one more thing into your marketing. Just keep building it. Reach for weird. Often we gravitate towards obvious and simple approaches or things we've always done for, but get out of the box and think weird. Even if you don't do something weird, there's science about the fact that thinking weird and thinking outside the box stimulates more creativity and opens up your mind to other things. So it can be helpful, even if you go to something that's more trusted, that you at least opened up your mind, and maybe that solution got better in the process. Fall 7 times, stand 8. If you get knocked down, if something doesn't work, use your creativity to come back even better. Mistakes are the pathways to discovery. And you've seen quotes online over and over and over that, for every time somebody won, there were 1,000 times that they failed. Was it Thomas Edison inventing the light bulb, right? That he had 1,000 failures until he got the one that worked. And just a reminder again, how do you eat the elephant one bite at a time? Because we covered a lot of stuff today, and now we're going to look at the calendar and you're going to see even more stuff. But to just take a beat And again, we're going to send a link to this video. So you're going to have all of my talking again that you can listen to. You're going to have the deck so that you can even just scoot through that and say, oh yeah, I meant to do that. Oh yeah, I thought about doing that. And then take that calendar, which really is the practical application of these kinds of ideas. And it gives you a schedule. So now you can do things every month, and they're bite-sized. So you won't be afraid of them at all. Sophie, I'm going to ask you if there are any questions.
I see no questions. Are there any last minute questions before I move on to the calendar? We've got a lot of good feedback that people find this to be very powerful information, and they like the pictures. So that's good feedback for you, Elizabeth.
All right, good. I always wonder because I'm sitting here by myself and no one's talking back at me. So. All right, now we're going to get to the fun stuff. I think is the fun stuff is the salon marketing calendar. So I've written salon marketing calendars since 2009. Some of them for several years. I even published them on Amazon. I currently have one that have on my website for 2021 because I have people that purchased in the past and they connect with me on LinkedIn or Facebook, or they email me and they say, hey, do you have a new calendar coming out? And I've skipped a couple years, but this year I thought was a really, really good year to have one available because the new normal is not going to be the old normal. So maybe it can be encouragement. And I asked Frank and Michael if I could actually take some of that content and create a version that's for MRK Beauty customers. So that's what I did here. And this actually has more in it than I have in mind. So you don't even need to go out and get mine because there's more here, and you're going to get this sent to you at no cost, just for being signed up for this class. So first inside page 2021 at a glance, and then a table of contents so you can quickly get to the information that you want. The first thing I've got in here is social media cheat sheets, which I referenced before, is that a lot of companies have increased their use of social media. So you have to have a strategy, and part of that strategy is knowing how to size your images so that they show up at the maximum way in the feed so that you get the best view on the other side. So I've got ad sizes and feed sizes, Instagram story sizes, and there's also a lot of programs out there that you can use that have pre-formatted to these sizes. I know Canva, C-A-N-V-A, Canva is one that you could use if you've got some if you're comfortable using graphic design programs. You can go into Canva and pretty easily create something that's already pre-fitted to one of these sizes. Adobe Spark is another one that you can use on web and mobile. So there are some platforms out there where you don't have to understand necessarily pixels and ratios and stuff like that, but just to understand where you would want to post which one. Instagram, the best for the feed, the best size is square because that's how it shows up on your profile page, versus Facebook, where it's actually the optimal one is a wider image, more wide than it is tall. So just understanding that different media will look better, be more engaging, therefore, on different profiles. And then the best times to post and where you get the most engagement. One of the things after researching this for the calendar that I started doing was doing more social media posting at around noon, and especially around for Instagram and Facebook stories. And the reason I chose noon was not only that it's the falls in that window of the most engagement on most days, but also because I'm posting at noon, if somebody's checking in multiple times a day on these social profiles, they're actually seeing two posts because they might see one in the morning and then they see a different one in the afternoon after that 24 hours has gone by. I didn't include it on that page, but just to be encouraged, you don't have to post 4 or 5 times a day. Most brands, big brands, post 1 to 1.5 times a day on Instagram and once a day on Facebook. So posting once a day, and these are things that you can do even in advance. You could set up posts in advance using hootsuite.com, which I've got this in the calendar, so you don't need to write it down. You can use hootsuite.com to post up to 3 social media channels for free. Doesn't cost anything. And you can schedule those posts out. So maybe on a Sunday afternoon, you schedule out what you want to go out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, and maybe Thursday you reserve for a client transformation photo. So now you've got, 4 or 5 days that you've scheduled out all at once, and you don't have to be jumping into social media every day to make that happen. So another good way to get engagement on social media is to use questions. And for me, far and away, when I talk about coffee, that's when I get the most people weighing in with their opinions and views, etc. So asking questions like, what's your favorite coffee drink? What's your favorite coffee spot? Getting people to even share local recommendations for things is all a way to create more engagement on your social media. And it's important that even to create this kind of engagement, because even if you're not talking about something about your salon, when you've got more people engaged and you start to get more followers and you've got more activity, then the algorithms that govern, who Facebook and Instagram show in somebody's feed, you're moving up, because what you've proven is that you're posting things that are engaging. And those are the types of things that get you moved up, so that your posts have a longer shelf life, so that more people see your stuff. When people are commenting on your posts, that's when now all of a sudden people who are outside of your follower list are seeing that, because maybe you posted something and then somebody they follow answered or responded or jumped into that. So any way you can engage, you can spark that engagement is great. Questions work great because everybody likes to share their opinion. You can do a which do you like better and post, 2, 3, or 4 different images, like with different hairstyles or color or celebrity who glammed it up the best, and post some of those photos and even let people vote on them. If you could travel back in time, if you could meet anyone, if you could start any kind of business you wanted, all of these different questions speak to different kinds of people who might be in your quote unquote ideal client base. If you could live anywhere, if you could travel anywhere, what was your first car, last vacation? Etc. So these are all in the calendar, and you can look back to those anytime. The other thing I grabbed here was the most popular salon hashtags. And this is just strictly numbers. These are the ones that get used the most. So anytime you add a hashtag to a social media post, it creates a marker. And some people don't, if you already know how hashtags work, it's great. If you don't, I just want to say that if you could think about it like a filing system, where you've got a bunch of manila folders, and the tab of that folder, the title for that folder has a hashtag. So any post that somebody has given one of those hashtags is like a paper in that file, if that makes sense. So it kind of creates a filing system where somebody clicks on balayage, they get now a bunch of posts that have that hashtag in, and most likely rated from things with the most engagement, the most likes, etc., to least engagement. So again, creating that engagement for your social media can help you get found and seen a lot more online. And there's a bunch of these in here. There's things for every day of the year, which I had on the previous page actually. There's literally hashtags for every day of the year, and or every day of the week, sorry. And that would be like, Transformation Tuesday, or Follow Friday, or Fabulous Friday, Weekend Vibes, all of those different types of hashtags that you can use to, again, have one more way for your content to get served up on social media. So diving into the actual calendar pages for the year, you've got the month at a glance here for January. You can see that you've got your holidays on there: New Year's Day, Martin Luther King Day, the 31st, which is when the Grammys are scheduled to be held. And again, the Grammys, that's a time when you could maybe grab a few pictures of styles that you liked for hair and makeup and share those out then with your clients the next week. And then there's some random days in here that you're going to be like, what the heck and why is this in here? But Kiss a Ginger Day, and then you're using a hashtag for that, and you're sharing some photos of your great ginger color looks or something like that. So you don't actually have to kiss a ginger unless you know one and you want to. Popcorn Day, things like that, like Popcorn Day, like maybe right now you can't do it, but maybe in the future, a year from now, 2 years from now, when we're not facing health concerns, a day like popcorn day, and maybe you make it a week-long event, is your client comes in and they're greeted with a little baggie of popcorn that they can enjoy at the thing. So now I came to my appointment and yes, I got what I expected, but I also got something good that I didn't expect. National Hug Day, Spouses Day, all of these things can help be something that you use in your salon and with your team to maybe say, okay, it's Spouses Day. Can we brainstorm something around this so that we create some kind of special promotion? We have a couples appointment, we do a couples makeover or something like that. And then the monthly planner, and this is what I referenced. These are the small bites. These are I'm just going to do one new thing this month. So one new thing in January can be remembering that 8 out of 10 consumers research online before they go in store to buy a service or buy a product. So review and update your business listing on Google. Double check that your hours of information, your contact information, your website, your salon address is correct. And bonus points if you do this not only on Google, but you go into Facebook and do this on your Facebook page as well. Because since you entered information into your bio or your about page, some of that stuff might have changed. So this is just a small thing that you can do. Go into that Google business listing, your Facebook page, and look for any reviews that you haven't responded to, if you positive or negative. There are stats out there that show that consumers are more likely to ignore a negative review if the company has responded in a positive way. So consumers that rely on reviews understand that sometimes you just have an unpleasable client. So if you've responded to that and they see that you've made an attempt to rectify the situation, or they go on and they see all these just rave reviews, and then respond to those too. Just that thank you, that acknowledgement encourages more behavior like that. You can, in your Google business listing, you can add photos. These can be the same photos you're using on social media and that you're using on your website. So it's not a new task. And you just upload those photos of your salon, of your retail space, of your client stations. Upload those photos into Google business listing, because if someone has found you in online search because they searched for salons in Bonnie Lake and up popped your Google listing for your salon in Bonnie Lake, now that they can see the interior and they can start to have an expectation of what they're going to see there. Your team photo, great to have in your Google business listing, because now, remember, we're looking for those personal connections. And then you can also add special seasonal notifications. Again, they have a thing right now where you can add something for COVID, and you might not have a special announcement, like you might be totally open, not have any restrictions or anything, but you can still say something like, you know, we've implemented new cleaning protocols. We're really committed to your health and safety. So you're reinforcing that feeling of safety when it comes to clients and vulnerable clients specifically. So that's the one housekeeping thing, just one thing to do in January. Check your business listing on Google, make sure it's updated. Daily, and we talked about this a minute ago, for social media, just post once a day. Just post once a day. You can ask a question. You can use those hashtags for the day of the week. You can use the salon hashtags if you're, especially if you're posting like a photo from your salon or client pictures, etc. You never have to be searching for something to post, because there's so many ideas in this calendar that they're all there. And that is one of the things I've encountered over the years, of not just in the salon industry, but overall, is people say, you know, I need to do social media, but I don't know what to post. So I keep posting the same thing, or we started posting and then it fell off. But because there are different hashtags for every day of the week, because there are obviously seasonal things going on, because you have questions you can ask, because you made these little 30-second videos for different pieces of the salon experience, now you've got these different things that you can post and even repost to engage different segments of your client base, and to keep your social media posting looking really consistent. So I don't know about you, but if I go to a Facebook page and I can tell they haven't posted for 2 years, they're not in the game anymore. So just to be consistent, and if you can't do it every day, do it once a week. Right? So start small, especially if you haven't been doing it at all. Don't make the challenge for yourself something that you're going to give up on because it's insurmountable. Just start as small as you can without it being too small. We've got some hashtags in there, popular New Year hashtags. These are the ones that just had the most volume. And then keywords that trend in Google search, because these are things that people are looking for at those periods of time. New Year's, December 22nd to January 5th. If you're doing a New Year, New You type of promotion or something with New Year's, you want to really start that in December, not January. That's what that tells you. Because if somebody's looking for New Year's coupons or specials or anything like that, that's going to be happening before January 5th, not after. And then Valentine's Day starts the end of January and continues right up until a couple of days after Valentine's Day. So throughout the calendar, you're going to see one housekeeping item. You're going to see a reminder to post something every day. If you can't do it every day, do it every week. The popular hashtags for that month, the keywords that are trending in Google search that month. And then there's going to be a reminder every month around the first of the month. January, I did it on the 1st. People are doing family things and vacation things and holiday things. So for January, send that email on January 4th. Every other month, I think I have it on the 1st of the month. And that's that email that we talked about. And it could be an email, it could be a text message, and diversified content, have your promotions and special offers, rewards, referral programs, anything you want to highlight about that, suggested add-ons, a product or service spotlight. Could be, one of your best sellers. It could be an underrated product that's not getting the attention it deserves, not getting the sales you think it deserves. It could be a new product that just came on into the line. What's coming next month? And obviously any changes in your business structure, hours, etc., so that clients get a heads up if they need to make some changes. Engaging photos, those little 30 or 60-second videos, you can embed those right into emails. You can include something just funny, or the coffee questions, the engaging things, just different types of content. It doesn't have to be all of that, but maybe 3 or 4 things, so that when that client gets that email and they open it up, it's not just a call to action to buy something. It's something else that could be amusing and engaging for them. And then so you'll see that at the beginning of the month and the end of the month, you're going to see that reminder to create the newsletter that goes out the next month. So that looks like 2 things, but it's really only one, because the send date, you're going to do all this toward the end of the month. You're going to get all that set, and then you're going to schedule it. And I recommend using MailChimp if you haven't done email marketing or you're not on another platform. The reason I recommend MailChimp, it's far and away the most cost effective. And if you have less than 2,000 contacts, you actually get to use it completely for free. They also have a lot of templates. So again, if you're comfortable doing a little bit of graphic design, you've worked on a couple different types of platforms, it's going to be really easy for you to go in there, grab one of their pre-made templates, and just insert your stuff in there. And then each month I've got just a little promo idea area, turn New Year resolutions into promotions for January. So this is among top 10 New Year resolutions people make every year, is to find the love of their life. So why not turn that desire into a service, a first date makeover? And maybe it has to be a virtual first date makeover where your client is pampered, prepped, and taught how to maintain and recreate that date night look. A lot of people make New Year resolutions about finances. So price sensitive clients might be more open to purchasing bundled offers or moving up to a VIP status that rewards them for pre-booking. And again, that goes back to the thing that made US consumers act during this last year the most was value. So building that value in. So that somebody who is price sensitive and maybe they are trying to make some cuts, they don't want to cut you because you've actually put more value into what you've provided for them. And then again, expressing those offers in terms of value, not cost, and showing them that they're getting more value from the money that they spend with you than they might spend somewhere else.
Elizabeth?
So, yes.
We just have a couple questions. I think
Okay.
This is a good time to address them.
Yeah.
The first question is asking about how to handle a negative review. So can you address that?
Yeah. So there's a lot of ways that you can respond to a negative review. If you feel it's legitimate, jump in there and say, hey, I'm so sorry that we didn't meet your expectation, that there was a problem. If there was something that contributed to that problem, maybe explain that. it's not the negative review that's going to hurt you. It's the fact, it's if you don't respond. So you might, extend to them that, hey, your next visit's on us, or come back and we'll fix it. If it's not legitimate, and we've all seen these where somebody that isn't even your customer posted a negative review about a business, there you can reach out to the platform. Sometimes it's hard to get that platform to take that down, but again, go in and respond. Say, this person's not even our client, they weren't our customer, and so please disregard this review. And then if it is a customer, but maybe you still think that the complaint is illegitimate, it's still about just acknowledging their feelings, going in and saying, I'm so sorry that we didn't meet your expectations. We'd really like to have another chance to make it right. And that's probably where it's going to end. So just that response.
Great. And then the second question is, do you post daily to your story or the news feed, or both?
Both. It's a different animal, and the feed is the thing that I'm only going to be posting once a day. The stories are a little bit different because we've all seen people's stories where they have maybe 2 or 3 different ones, and you can click through. So I think in stories you have more flexibility, that you're not overwhelming people by putting all these things into their feed, because the stories are a purposeful act where somebody's got to click on it to go see it. So if that makes sense. So if somebody's clicking on the MRK story, it's because they're interested in whatever MRK Beauty has put on there, and they know that they're going to see some product use things. Like, we share a lot of MRK Beauty customers. If they're connected with Instagram and they post a great client makeover, a lot of times we'll add that to our story and put that up there. Or it might be a product launch. We just had the new Milkshake Amazing just launched, so we've had that up there, or the Gloss Men. So you've got more flexibility in stories. And again, because it's a voluntary thing for somebody to go click on that, versus the feed where they're just maybe, the feed, you don't control what's in that. So I hope that makes sense.
Yep, and those were all the questions that we had.
Okay, excellent. So we're going to move on. I won't spend quite as much time going through everything, but for February, we've got any holidays or special observances that are in there. Again, all those things are things for you to be creative with your team. Valentine's Day is the 14th. Galentine's Day, which I had not heard of till I did this year's calendar, which is a special day to celebrate with girlfriends in your life. And that could be a day that you have some special promotion where you bring women in with their besties 2 at a time. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year, if that's an issue with social distancing, etc. The end of February, you've got Golden Globes. So again, you've got another chance where you can go out and get celebrity inspiration, and maybe get that client in who wants a look that they've seen at one of the award shows. Housekeeping, look, tiny, just a tiny little thing. Use hashtags and keywords to get found on social media. Review and update your Facebook and Instagram business bios and descriptions. So you can use hashtags in a post, but you can also put them in those bios. And when they're in those bios, now anytime it's not that gets served up over and over. So one of the ones for salons, make sure that the phrase salons in, and then your city name, salons in Bonnie Lake, salons in Spokane, Spokane salons, those types of phrases are in your social media and in your website, because that's what will get found online, because that's what people search for online. If I've just moved to Bonnie Lake and I don't have a hairdresser and I'm not really connected to people who are going to make recommendations for me, I'm maybe just going to go on Google search and look for salons in Bonnie Lake, and maybe I'm going to look for salons in Bonnie Lake that have a specific product. So those hashtags that you use can all help you get found online. The name of your city and other nearby landmarks, especially if your business is located like in a mall or near a mall or a strip mall. Again, something else that somebody's going to search for, like salons in the U District if you're in Seattle, or salons in downtown Tacoma or something like that. So a hashtag that includes the name of your city followed by salons or stylists, which we just talked about. And those are strong hashtags to help your stuff get found on social media beyond just the time that you post it. And again, you can put them not just on the post, but you can have some of those, the most important ones in your bios as well. A reminder that every day or every week or however often you can do it consistently to do a social media post. Popular Valentine's Day hashtags. Valentine's hair is one of those. Couple goals, like there's a lot of these that you can, gifts for her, that you can look at and say, oh yeah, that's something that I could relate back to my salon. Valentine's gifts for her, and then I post something that would make a great take home for a woman. Keywords that are trending in Google search. You've got Valentine's Day. You've got wedding hair. This is so important. So many people get engaged over the holidays or, you know, in the fall and the end of the year, and they plan a summer wedding. Well, when are they starting to look for their wedding stuff? Right after the new year. So wedding hair starts trending January 5th through March 7th. If wedding hair is something that your salon does, or you do packages, bridal packages, men's packages, whatever that is, that's the time to be posting on social media, but also be putting something onto your website for wedding hair and those packages. And popular wedding hair hashtags is also right on this page, and so you can see what to tag your posts with. For the, again, first of the month, you've got that. This is when the email gets sent. End of the month, this is when I set up the email to get sent. Again, it looks like two things. It's really only one, because it's really only the end of the month when you create that email newsletter, and then you schedule it, and then you tuck it in, and then the first of the month off it goes with that content that is going to appeal to different types of clients. For the promotion section in February, love is in the hair. It's all about couples. Creating promotions for perfect pairings, his and hers shampoo and conditioner duos, BOGOs that you can do for couples with products, services, gift cards, etc. Add-on services. Add-on service could be a perfect pairing with a color service, etc. It's either perfect pairings, at-home retail, plus specific services. And I mean, you guys know how to marry this stuff up, but it's just maybe putting some more structure in it so that your clients aren't having to think of it themselves. It's a perfect pairing, and here's what it is, and here's how to get it, making it as easy as possible for that client to grab that thing you want them to grab. Talked about February as weddings month. People who are getting married during the summer are doing their planning now. So if you do a wedding and formal hair, this would be a great time to hold a virtual bridal hair and makeup demo. And this could be a situation where maybe you create 2 or 3 different looks, and you're not necessarily creating them in the video, but you're showing them off in the video. So now, you know, you could maybe do something that's boho with the hair down. You can do an updo, and you could do something maybe very traditional, or, you know, with a big veil, things like that. So you've got 3 different looks, and now you've inspired these people who are looking for wedding hair to come to you because you've got this beautiful hair and makeup look that you can offer them. Begin promoting wedding stuff by February 1st, even before that, since it starts trending in January. And popular wedding hair hashtags we talked about. Are there any questions, Sophie?
I don't see any questions.
Okay, I'll keep going. March, that email's going out there. You're actually doing the work towards the end of the month. Employee Appreciation Day, the 5th of March. There's a lot of different ways that you could use this to do some in-house acknowledging and thank yous for your own staff, for your coworkers. Sorry, I'm going to get a quick drink of water. International Women's Day, daylight savings spring ahead. Sorry, daylight savings is another excuse to email your clients or to put something up on social media just as a reminder. For years, I was a church pianist, and for many years, and there was always inevitably on daylight savings starting or ending, somebody that didn't get the message and didn't get their clock set and came in either an hour early for church or an hour late. So there are people out there that do appreciate those reminders. And if you can make that fun or relate it back to your salon in some way, that's even better. St. Patrick's Day celebrated more in the US than it is in Ireland. And I've got that on the promotion side, so I'm not going to reference that now. First day of spring, which is going to start the thing of spring hair trends and things like that. National Puppy Day, because puppies are freaking awesome. And puppies are like coffee. You get some of those, if you can get a post with your puppy or your kitty, and you've got that cute picture of you and your pet, that's something that a lot of times sparks social media engagement. And it's a personal touch. It's that, oh, I have a cat too, now I feel connected to you. Or I've got a cute puppy too, now I feel connected to you. So housekeeping, again, one tiny little thing. Customer satisfaction surveys create engagement. And this goes back to how those companies changed in 2020, which was getting customer feedback to change and frame offers. So customer satisfaction surveys, and you can do these in the salon when the client's right there. You could have a little piece of paper that they fill out. You could have something online. You just send them a quick link, and you could do it via email. You can send a link via text. And you can just ask questions like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with whatever that is, the salon, the stylist, retail products, et cetera. And you can change that up. How likely are you to refer us? Were you greeted or helped quickly at your last? You don't have to do all these questions, but I wanted you to have some examples of questions. Maybe only do 2 or 3 because you're just looking for some quick feedback. And what this does psychologically, let's say you send this out a week after a client appointment, is okay, now the client who hasn't thought about you for the last week, now they're thinking about you again. Now they're remembering the great experience that they had at your salon. Now they're remembering that you like referrals because you said, how likely are you to refer us? Or, you know, what kind of referral reward would be meaningful to you? So questions that you can ask to create some engagement and get that customer feedback that can help you improve your salon on a regular basis. And maybe they all say it's great, and then you know you're doing the right things, and that's important too. But you're also just reinforcing that positive client perception in the questions and the way that you ask the questions. And then you could use those ratings. Like, let's say you had 50 clients that responded to this, and you know, on a scale of 1 to 5, you got a 4.9. Man, I'd be shouting that all over social media and putting together a little graphic that says, you know, we got 5-star ratings from all the clients that we surveyed, and they love us here, so you should love us too. So it creates social proof when you're then sharing some of those results. And then obviously, if you have a team and you're gathering that feedback, you can also use it within your team. You can even use it to create some programs for your team where if we get, you know, a perfect 10 out of 10, then we're getting a pizza party, or we're doing some kind of other incentive to really help keep those pieces of your experience that you want top of mind for your staff, to keep those top of mind through rewards, which we know work. Again, that reminder to every day or every week or however often you can do it, you know, share something online, use those day of the week hashtags, use the questions, use the holidays that are occurring during the month to diversify your content, get some different things out there and create engagement. Popular spring hair hashtags, it's the first day of spring, and these are the words that come up. So we've got popular spring hair hashtags. These are the ones that are used most often, so you might want to include. And then keywords trending in Google search. Again, we've got wedding hair, which was January 5th to March 7th. Prom, January 12th to March 14th. Now, I don't know if that's going to be true in 2021, because I don't know if proms are really going to be happening, especially here in the Northwest, where we maybe had, you know, more restrictions. Spring hair, February 16th to March 22nd. And then St. Patrick's, which trends for almost a month. So the promotion idea in March that I included is around St. Patrick's Day, celebrated more here than in Ireland. You could do an after hours open house on St. Patrick's Day, and you can do this in your salon, or you can hold a virtual event, and maybe there you're going to demo spring hairstyles or hair care and styling products. And you might, I'm not encouraging drinking, but maybe you connect that to some kind of drinking game, even if it's virtual, even if it's apple cider. It doesn't have to be a terrible thing. Show off your green, use station talkers in your email newsletter, et cetera, to spotlight your salon's green initiatives and practices. This is an issue that's important to a lot of people, especially here in the Pacific Northwest again. April and May offer several occasions to promote gift card sales and remind clients to pre-book appointments for special dates that they want to look their best, prom and important school events, Mother's Day, which is coming up in May, college graduations coming up in May and June, and then even going into June, July, where people are going to be planning vacations, weddings, family reunions or school reunions, things where, you know, they really do want to look their best. So you could craft promotions around any one of those, or even just doing some social media posting. Because if people are, if I have a son who's getting married at the end of June, so around March, I'm going to be very interested in what I'm going to wear and how I'm going to look at that wedding. So going on to April, you got that client email going out the first of the month. You're actually going to schedule it, do all the work right here for the next month. April Fool's Day, which if you're sending that client email on April 1st and it's April Fool's Day, it could be a fun time for you to do something fun in that email for your clients. If you've got some kind of April Fool's type announcement that you want to include in there. Easter Beer Day on April 7th, Siblings Day. Again, you might put your brainstorm around ways that you could do some kind of makeover contest or something for siblings. Taxes due day. A lot of businesses say we'll pay the sales tax on April 15th for any retail that you buy. Administrative Professionals Day. If you've got a way to reach out to local bosses, local companies, and especially if you're in an area where you have a lot of those, like you're in a downtown area, that can be a good promotion to have out, some kind of free add-on or something. Earth Day, again, goes back to your green initiatives. Is very important to a lot of people. Oscars and Emmys are scheduled for April 25th. So that's going to give you lots of opportunities to go out and grab inspiration photos of hair and makeup that you can share with your clients on social media, email marketing, even on your website. National Hairdresser Appreciation Day is April 30th. And so housekeeping, this isn't even really a task. It's just kind of a review to make sure that your customer experience across channels is consistent. So you've got consistent visuals and messaging, and that's your website, social media, email, your in-salon signage, station talkers, business cards, menus, etc. And I always say that with a strong brand, everything looks like it came off the same desk. So it's not all identical, but it all feels like it's in the same family. And also to do updates, because maybe you rebooted your website, but you didn't go and change your social media cover photos, or vice versa. Maybe you've updated your social media and your in-salon signage, or your business cards, maybe even your logo, but you didn't go back and touch the website. So making sure that all of those marketing channels feel like the same business is your only housekeeping task. And that, like I said, that's just a review. You might not even have a task. It's a small thing. A daily reminder or weekly reminder to share on social media, popular celebrity hair hashtags, keywords that are trending in Google search, or April Fools, literally trends for 2 days. Oscar fashion and Emmys fashion, April 25th through 30th. Generally, it's the week after the event that Oscars fashion, Emmys fashion is going to trend. And then Mother's Day starts trending around April 19th through the middle of May. April 1st, that newsletter was going to go out, but it was created at the end of the month. So it's really only one thing, not two things. April 1st, launch your Mother's Day promotions, or at least by mid-April, since Mother's Day starts trending mid-April and people are thinking about that. I say April 1st. The reason I say this is because you might only see your clients once every if you're only seeing a client once every 6 weeks, you might only see them once between April 1st and Mother's Day. So you want to get those promotions. And this is just also a reminder to really change the way that you think, and don't let those things, don't let it be May 1st. And now you're like, oh yeah, I needed to do something for Mother's Day. Be training yourself, be creating that habit of thinking 3 months ahead, or at least 2 months ahead, so that by the time that Mother's Day rolls around, you've had those promotions running, so that all of your clients have had a chance to capitalize on those or see those. And here's where I demo a $100 digital marketing budget. You could literally even do this for less than $100, because some of the $100 I've spent on discretionary items. So for $4 a month, you can have a WordPress website hosted on ionos.com. I've used Ionos personally since since I first ever had a website for my business. And the reason I went to Ionos is it's been around a long time. It's based in Germany, not Russia. And it's really cost effective. It's way more economical than GoDaddy or some of the other ones that you see all the commercials for, but it's just as robust. And then they have a lot of options. One of the things I love about their WordPress hosting is that you can have up to, I think it's up to 100 corporate emails for free. So if I have my website, which is the best salon on BonnieLake.com, I can create up to 100 email addresses. So myself and a few of my staff, anyone that needs one, can have, Elizabeth at the best BonnieLakeSalon.com. We can have those branded emails instead of, so you're not then using Gmail or Yahoo or unbranded email, an unbranded email for your business card and your website and those things where you want maybe that more professional image to come through. So WordPress hosting you can do for $4 a month. I talked about the fact that you can schedule and automate social posts on Hootsuite.com for up to 3 networks for free. So that costs nothing. You can do your email marketing on MailChimp, up to 2,000 contacts or 12,000 emails a month on MailChimp.com. Not very many salons are going to ever get close to that number. And then so I added, so for the $100, I put in some discretionary spending. So take $50 and sponsor or boost a couple posts that you've made that are maybe talked about your promotions or something that you think would help generate new business for you. And, $25 each, just boost those posts in a hyper local way. And what that means in hyper local is that you're literally going on, and I'm a salon in Bonnie Lake. So I'm saying Bonnie Lake plus 10 miles surrounding. These are the people on Facebook I want to see this ad. One of the classes that we've done in the past is how to do a Facebook ad. So if that's something you're interested, we would be happy to put that class together too, if people are interested in seeing that Facebook advertising. And then, so you've still got a lot of money left. So you could do $25, a gift card that you do for some contest that you run that month or some kind of drawing. And then you've still got $21 in that $100 budget that you could add a retail product to award in that contest or drawing if you'd like to as well. So it's $100, and a lot of that was discretionary. So literally the things that you have to have, which is the WordPress website and the email marketing and the social posting automation, costs $4 a month. So you can, even if you don't have $100, you can still get started in marketing in a very cost-effective way. Sophie, did we have questions? Because I thought I saw some things cropping up.
No questions here.
Okay.
I think about 5 people have dropped off, so I think people are ready to wrap up.
And
here.
now that I'm on full screen, I can't see what time it is. So is there an interest in continuing to go through the calendar, or have you seen enough that you kind of understand for each month what's happening? Anyone?
I think, and we haven't heard if anybody wants to continue on. I think that's a good overview, Elizabeth. There's just so much information here, I think, and this is my second time through it. My head's spinning. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up?
I mean, I think the important thing there's a lot of information here, but the reason there's a lot of information here is so that you can take one thing. So it goes back to that eating the elephant one bite at a time. And what the marketing calendar doesn't force you to do anything, but it's got this information now, which reinforces, oh yes, these trends that are going on, but here's something I can do in April to help better promote my business. Here's something I can do in May. Here's what these people are looking for. So it's not doing everything, but it's it's grabbing onto the things that maybe excite you as well. A lot of times what gets you excited is going to be the same kind of thing that gets your client excited, because you know your clients better than anyone.
Yes.
So
And
we'll make this recording available. We'll be sending a link to that. We'll be sending the deck and be sending the calendar this afternoon.
good. Can I add something, Elizabeth?
Yes, all you.
I just want to say this is a lot of information, and I'm excited about this for many different reasons, but we so appreciate you, our customers, and I don't know what the future holds, but I do know that together we can get through this. And just pick a few of these items, like she said, taking action puts you not only on the bus, but in the driver's seat. And when we take action, we're going to feel better about where we're going. And I guarantee if you do something every month over the next 12 months, by the end of the year, it can't help but be a better year. So we really are excited to be able to offer you for free this marketing calendar. And you just saw the first few months, it goes on and on. Also utilize your sales consultant or reach out, get a partner, somebody to help hold you accountable. Our consultants are there to help you with your business as well. So thank you so much for all the support to our business throughout the year, the last year especially, and looking forward to a good 2021.
Yeah, I totally agree. Action is really relieving. Sometimes doing something is the thing that helps you feel you're in control and does create that forward momentum. So just don't be afraid.
Sophie and Elizabeth, thank you so much. Everybody on the call, on the Zoom, thank you for everything.
It was our pleasure. And yeah, thank you for everyone who registered and came in. And if you have any questions going forward, or you forgot something that I said, feel free just to email. You can respond right back to the emails you got reminding you about this webinar, and somebody will get back to you.
Sounds good. Thank you again.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye. Have a great day.